My name is Lena. When my mother died, my father and I lived quietly for many years. The house felt safe but empty. Then my father met Mrs. Alden, and everything changed. At first, she was kind. She smiled, brought flowers, and spoke softly to my father. But after she and her daughter Clara moved in, the kindness disappeared. She took control of the kitchen, the money, and even my father's time. And she locked one door in the house, my mother's old room. The door was always closed. "Why is Mother's room locked?" I asked my father. He sighed. "Mrs. Alden doesn't like old memories. Let's respect her feelings, Lena." So I stayed away. But late at night, I heard small sounds from inside a drawer sliding, a soft breath, a box shaking. When I told Mrs. Alden, she said, "Don't make up stories, dear. You'll frighten Clara." She smiled, but her eyes were cold. Clara and I were the same age, but our lives were different. She slept late, wore new dresses, and spent the day on her phone. I woke before sunrise, cooked, washed, and carried water. If I paused, Mrs. Alden snapped, "Don't be lazy like your mother." The words hurt more than the work. At night, I whispered to my mother's photo, "I'm trying to be good, Mom. Please help me stay strong." One afternoon, my father said, "There's a school fair this weekend. You girls should go." Clara clapped her hands. Mrs. Alden said, "Yes, Clara will wear her new white dress. She must look perfect." My father smiled. "Lena can go too." Mrs. Alden kept her smile. "Of course Lena can go too. She already has a dress." She knew I had only one old plain dress. At the fair, lights and music filled the air. I walked behind Clara, carrying her bag. Then a young man stopped near me, tall and kind. "Hello," he said. "You're Lena, right? I've seen you at the market. You help people." I felt warm. "Yes, that's me." "You're different," he said gently, in a good way. Before I could answer, Clara appeared and pulled my arm, but the young man, Ethan, smiled at me again. I carried that smile all night. A few days later, I heard voices in Mrs. Alden's room. "She's getting attention," Mrs. Alden said. "She will ruin everything for you, Clara." "What will you do?" Clara whispered. "She will learn her place." That night, I stood at my mother's locked door. I tried the handle, it opened. Moonlight fell on a small wooden box. Inside were letters and a photo of my mother and me. On top lay a slightly burned note. "She wants to destroy you. Be careful, my Lena. I will protect you." It was my mother's handwriting. Tears filled my eyes. From the hallway, I felt someone watching me. The next morning, Mrs. Alden handed me a basket. "Go to the forest and pick flowers," she said sweetly. The path was wet after rain. Halfway there, I felt someone behind me, but no one was there. Suddenly I tripped. Pain shot through my leg. A rope was tied across the path, a trap. With shaking hands, I called Ethan. He came quickly, helped me up, and carried me home. When he saw the rope, his face went pale. "Someone planned this," he said. My father was shocked. Mrs. Alden covered her mouth. "Oh dear, how terrible," she said, but her eyes were angry. That night, I returned to my mother's room. As I reached the door, I heard footsteps and hid. Mrs. Alden slipped inside and opened the wooden box. Inside was a note, not the one I saw earlier. It now said, "You will be out of this home." She froze, afraid and furious. She closed the box hard and hurried out. The next morning, she lost control. Still shaken, she ordered workers to tear down my mother's room. "It's old and useless," she shouted. This house needs to be fresh. My father, Mr. Collins, looked uneasy, though he didn't know why. While workers measured the walls, my father went to his study. On his desk lay the wooden box, though I had returned it and locked the room. He opened it. Inside was another note. Your wife wants to destroy Lena. Stop her. He knew the box. He knew the handwriting. He stood, walked out, and ordered, Stop. No one touches that room. In the hall, he held up the note. Mrs. Alden, he said, explain this. She tried to smile. It's nonsense. A trick. She wrote it. My father shook his head. No. I know what you tried to do. Take your things and leave. Clara cried. Mrs. Alden stared at me with cold fire. By evening, they were gone. The house grew quiet. My father and I unlocked my mother's room. Dust floated like smoke. We opened the window light and fresh air filled the room. We cleaned together. I placed the photo and the wooden box on the table. For the first time in years, the room felt warm. Ethan visited with small white forest flowers. My father thanked him. Ethan smiled at me and my heart felt safe. Weeks passed. The house found peace again. I cooked because I wanted to. My father laughed again. Ethan visited often. We talked about music, work, and small dreams that felt like a future. One afternoon, under the old tree, Ethan looked nervous. He took my hands. Lena, will you marry me? Tears filled my eyes. Yes. My father was full of joy. You deserve happiness, he said. Our wedding was small and bright. Afterward, he told me, if you wish, you can live in your mother's room. So Ethan and I made it our home. One rainy evening, Ethan found a tiny hidden box in the wardrobe. Inside were 2 notes in my mother's handwriting. The light you carry is my forever gift. Love will always protect you. I pressed them to my heart. Rain tapped softly on the window. Ethan took my hand. My father hummed an old song in the next room. I once thought our house was full of darkness. Now I know the truth. The light was always there, waiting for courage, waiting for love, waiting for us. Sometimes life is unfair, but kindness, courage, and love can change everything. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe, not just for more stories, but for more moments that make you feel something again.